Welcome in to Countdown to Tip-Off, presented by UT Knoxville Alumni and Tennessee Athletics. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual pep rally. I'm Brian Rice, UT alum and Knoxville radio personality, coming to you from the Sports Animal Studios here in Knoxville. Our event would not be possible without our partners and sponsors, including Cellular Sales, Coca-Cola, Farm Bureau Insurance, First Horizon, Food City, Graduate Knoxville, Graphic Creations, Pilot Company, PYA, Threads, and UT Medical Center. All right, let's get started. Today's highlights include an interview with Lady Vols for Life, Bashaara and Jordan Reynolds. They will both join us live coming up here in just a few to help preview tonight's game against South Carolina. You'll have my interview with the head coach, Kelly Harper, coming up in a little bit as well. We'll have a feature on Tennessee sophomore Jillian Hollingshed, keys to the game, and much more. Before we jump in today, just to remind you, this season we've changed things up a bit. If you have questions for our guests, Bashaara Graves and Jordan Reynolds, just go ahead and type those comments into the box in any streaming service you're joining us from, and we will answer those later on in the show. We want to make this show all about you. One of the bright spots for Tennessee, especially down the stretch in SEC play this season, has been Jillian Hollingshed, coming off the bench to provide a dominant presence in the post and nearly a double-double per game over her last 5. Let's take a closer look at Tennessee sophomore Jillian Hollingshed.
What about basketball I love the most is just competing every night, playing for my teammates, playing for my coach, just doing what I love with the people I love. The thing about Tennessee that made me want to come here was just like the atmosphere, the people, the coaching. When I came here on my visit, I just literally instantly fell in love. Like, I was always smiling. Like, I literally loved every piece of what they were showing me, and I just committed right then and there.
Jillian brings size and skill set to our team, and I think as the year has gone on, we've also seen her bring more physicality to the court.
Hollingshed gets her own rebound, goes back up strong off the press, and scores.
Things I wanted to work on was definitely getting stronger. Down there in the post, it can be hard sometimes. I talked with Coach Brian and the nutritionist about like what supplements I need to take, what helps me gain on a little bit more pounds so I can turn that into muscle, what exercises I need to do in the weight room, so he helps me a lot with that.
I think Jillian continues to mature on the court as she gains experience. We're able to work with her, we're able to watch film, really help her in practice, fine-tune her game. She's been in big games now, she has been productive and continues to battle and fight at a very elite level.
My mindset when I'm going into the game is just staying focused for 40 minutes. I think that's a really big part of the game. The game is physical, but the mental game, it has to be strong. You have to be confident. You know you're going to get this rebound, know you're going to get these points, know you're going to help out your team, take a charge, steals, whatever that may be.
Down Hollingshed on the left block. Hollingshed cuts through traffic, puts it out with the right hand and scores.
Goals for myself is definitely becoming a better me, like health-wise, like I say, getting stronger, faster, just becoming a complete player. IQ, speed, strength, footwork, because all that you're going to need to be a complete player and be the best as you can be.
Al dishes to Hollingshed, a long 2 from the right side for Hollingshed, rattles home.
Jillian is someone that is going to continue to expand her game and continue to be productive in a lot of areas. She can rebound, she can guard, she can shoot the ball out on the floor, but she can also put the ball on the floor. I just think she has a very wide, broad skill set that she's going to continue to work on and develop so that her strengths are across the board.
Jillian's been so much fun to watch, especially over these last few weeks. Can't wait to see where she takes this team starting tonight against South Carolina. A couple of players that took Tennessee a long way in their time on Rocky Top. 2 Lady Vol greats, Bashaara Graves and Jordan Reynolds, join us now. Ladies, so great to have you with us here on Countdown to Tip-Off. Saw you at Thompson Bowling Arena earlier this season. Great to see you again. How are you both today?
Doing fine. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here. If you have your questions for our LVFLs, Bashaara Graves and Jordan Reynolds, type those comments into the comments box on any of the streaming platforms you're joining us from right now, and we will take your questions as we go along. Ladies, you've now watched Tennessee from afar this season. Just some initial thoughts, Bashaara. We'll start with you on Tennessee on this season and kind of where they are at this point in the season going into South Carolina tonight.
They've been a solid team throughout the season. They started off kind of rocky with a few losses, but I think in SEC play they picked it up and they've done a great job. They've had some tough losses against some good teams, but I mean, it's the end of the season. March is where, you're mentally challenged. So, and that's where things really happen is in March. That's all that matters.
Jordan, you're seeing this run in SEC play. So I know you guys always play tough schedules. How much does that tough schedule, like Tennessee's played this year, help you once you get to these conference games?
I think it helps a lot just so that you get that experience before March comes along, just because once you hit March, you never know who you're going to play, but it's good to have those big games under your belt already so that when you show up for March, then you're not, unprepared. You're like ready for whatever's thrown at you.
How much does playing tough competition like this help you when you go on the road in the SEC or you have a team like South Carolina coming in at number one, being battle tested? And I know South Carolina tonight is as well, but you've kind of hit some of those rough patches. You've had to learn from them. And win or loss, you've picked up a lot of knowledge going in that can help you with this. Bashaara, how do those games help you when you're coming into a big game like tonight?
They help you figure out how mentally tough you are. I think going against these big teams, like where you stack up against those teams and what it takes to get to that level and play against that competition that you're going to run into in March.
Jordan, what was the game that sticks out to you of your Tennessee career that was most like tonight? You have a big number one type opponent coming in. It's a game that everybody's looked forward to all year. What are some of your memories of games like that when you were at Tennessee?
I would actually say playing South Carolina at South Carolina my sophomore year. One of our bigs had went down and Shar had to play the 5 actually. And we just brought it. We had our backs against the wall. I think they were the number one team as well. But we played so well. Like with all the adversity we had around us, we knew that everything, it was all or nothing. So we gave it our all. We lost by like maybe 3 points, but it came down to the wire and no one expected us to, go head to head with them because like I said, one of our bigs was out. But it was such a fun game. The atmosphere was crazy. I think it was sold out. Our team was rallying behind us. Our fans were there. Like it was a great game. And like I said, we fought to the end. It was so much fun. Those are the games that you live for, though. At Tennessee, these big rivalries or these big games where it's on TV, they're streamed, and no one expects anything from you, but you come and you play hard and you make it a great game. These are the games you live for in college.
Bashaara, what's one that sticks out to you? Is it that same one, or are there others that remind you of some of the great memories that you had as a player?
I feel like there's so many. South Carolina is definitely one. South Carolina, my freshman year at home was a great one. Also, the game that Jordan is talking about, that was a lot for us because, we had a certain lineup going into the game, and then the week of the game, we had to change things up. And we were really into that game. Like, we played 40 minutes hard. And, I don't think we won that game, but it was a tough game all the way through.
We're going to get to questions from our viewers here in just a moment, but I want to ask you, because, Jordan, you kind of hit on it there, dealing with injuries. Tennessee's had to play without Tamari Key all season. You have to adjust kind of what you've done. There's Jillian Hollingshed, who we just saw the feature on, has come on, but you're without a big piece that Tennessee was expecting to have. What's it like to adjust without having an important player down low? I know you guys went through that with Izzy being down as well, but how does a team adjust when it's something that nobody else can necessarily do to just step in?
I think you've always got to be prepared, and that's where our coaches kind of harped on us, is that whenever you step on the court, there can never be a downfall in play. So everyone is an important key, so that you have to go through practice like you're going to play 40 minutes. You have to play in games like you're going to play 40 minutes at all times, so that when it's your time to step up, there's no downfall or no drop off, of anything that's going on in the game plan. Everyone needs to know the game plan. Everyone needs to know the intensity. Everyone needs to be on the same page so that when it's your time and you're finally called up, it's like you're already ready for it. You're not second guessing. No one's second guessing. It's just like, okay, what's the next step? And so then you play well because you know you have that confidence and you have that readiness already.
Bashaara, what's it like being that player that's asked to step up and maybe play a role that isn't in necessarily your wheelhouse, but it's something that your team needs at that moment?
I mean, it's hard, but that's where you come. That's what you come to Tennessee for. Like, you have to step up. And when things happen, you have to step up. You have to have players who can do a little more than than their role entails, and that's what those moments are for.
Let's take some questions from our viewers. Our first viewer question from Sandra. Do you guys feel like the game is a lot more physical than it's been in previous years? And how do you think this team matches up with that physicality? Jordan, start with you on that one.
Honestly, I don't know. I can't really say, just because with me, I thought that the game, when we were playing, I thought the game was less physical than when like Candace and Tamika and all of them were playing, because they were playing like no calls were being called. So I guess it's just all your perspective and how you look at it. Because again, the game has changed. Like, there's a lot more freedom in the backcourt for the guards, and then there's also a lot of freedom with the post too. Like, there's a no-touch rule or two-touch rule, something. So I guess it's all your perspective. And again, it is physical. Don't get it wrong. This is still the SEC. The SEC is always going to be the best physical, conference to me in the whole United States. So I don't know if it compares to when Candace and, like I said, Tamika, Shamika, and all them were playing, but I guess, yeah, it's just how you see it.
Sure. How do you adjust to the physicality game by game, where some games it may be called tight, some games it may be a very physical battle down front? How do you as a player adjust to that?
I mean, from the start, you have to figure out like how the game is being called. And if it's not part of your game to be physical, maybe you have to step up and be a little more physical. We all have things that we maybe are stronger at than others, but I mean, physicality in the SEC is what the SEC is about. So you have to understand that coming into this conference.
Let's take another viewer question. This one comes to us from Jacob. Favorite memory playing together at Tennessee? Bashaara, I'll start with you.
Favorite memory together? Probably SEC tournament, Jordan's freshman year. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Jordan had been kind of up and down the whole year of her freshman year, but then that SEC time she came in and she stepped up huge for us. Like, we wouldn't have won the SEC tournament if it wasn't for Jordan.
Well, that's a big compliment, Jordan. What do you think?
That's what I'm saying. First of all, just say Shar's never said that to me in person. I could personally tear up on camera. No, but seriously, I was gonna say the same thing. Either the SEC tournament my freshman sophomore year, or our Notre Dame game at Notre Dame Shar's senior year. Shar had our first 14 points, I swear, when we were playing at Notre Dame, and she was not gonna lose that game. It was like, just give Shar the ball type. It was amazing to see, just because in these big stages, you kind of see what players are made of. And that's why people come to Tennessee, because you're always going to be on the big stage. You're always going to see if you match up to these players, and you see that when it comes out to people. And it's just awesome to see. So hopefully we get to see it today. The girls come out and show people what they're made of on the big stage, the lights, the cameras, everything. This is your opportunity to show the world where you are at this point, because a lot of them are seniors, so it'll be a good next step for them going into the pros.
We'll take one more question from our audience before we get into some keys to the game and a look at the postseason. Alejandro says, what do you guys miss the most about playing at Tennessee? Jordan, I'll start with you this time.
I'm going to say my teammates 100%. We had so much fun, and we got in so much trouble together, but I would do it again with my teammates because like they literally make your experience. Like Knoxville's always going to be the same, the fans, everything. But your teammates, like you never get that again.
Bashaara?
I would say the same. I miss being around my teammates all the time. Like, you know, we butted heads all the time, but we always came back and had special moments together. Like, we'll see each other now and we'll talk about all the moments that we had together. So, like, those are special years, special 4 years of my life.
You guys both touched on the postseason a second ago, and this South Carolina game really, in a lot of ways, starts it because you have South Carolina today, Kentucky on Saturday, and then it is the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. What is the best part about this time of year for a team, for individual players, and for a program?
All right.
Oh, I thought you were going to go first because you're talking. I think they just go into these games. I mean, this South Carolina game is senior night. So for the seniors, like, this is your last time to show what you have at this level in front of the home crowd. Like, there's no home crowd like Tennessee's home crowd. Like, you have to be prepared for these big moments like that. And then going into the last game in the tournament, like, this is where you turn it on. Like, this is the end. If you don't want to be done, like, you have to give your all on these moments and really look at yourself individually and see how you stacked up for the rest of the season and what you need to do for the tournament.
Jordan?
I agree. I was going to say you have to get better mentally and physically for the tournament, individually first, because as individuals, you create a better team. So individually, they've got to come out, show everyone what they've got, play hard, play smart, play together. And then as a team, they've got to come together, stay together, play consistent, and execute. And then literally you can take that momentum into March. And I remember that's what we always loved to do, was to end with a bang, whether it was senior night or the SEC tournament. But going into the NCAA tournament, you need that kind of momentum because it gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you the experience. It gives you a lot of things. So I would just say, just get prepared for March. Like, go all out now. Like Shar said, it's either win or go home. And if you don't want to go home, you got to win.
Yeah, it's a new season at this point.
All right, before we wrap up, last thing quickly, one key to the game from each of you. Jordan, what's the key to Tennessee beating South Carolina tonight?
I would say execute. I liked what I saw when we were playing UConn, but we've got to finish the game out and execute all 4 quarters. It's not going to be easy, but that's what being on the big stage is all about. You've got to fight through it, be tough, and just execute.
Bashaara?
I feel like it's the little things. Rebounding is going to be huge in this game. South Carolina is a huge team. They're good on the boards, and we have to make sure we take that away from them.
Ladies, thanks so much for joining us. It's fun to get teammates back together here on Countdown to Tip-Off. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy Tennessee's run in the postseason, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bashaara Graves, Jordan Reynolds joining us here on Countdown to Tip-Off. A little earlier, I was able to catch up with Tennessee head coach Kelly Harper to get ready for tonight's matchup with South Carolina. Now joined on Countdown to Tip-Off by the head coach of the Lady Vols, Kelly Harper. And coach, a big one tonight at Thompson Bowling Arena, looking for a big crowd, but a big challenge for your team in the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Well, there's no doubt. You know, this is an undefeated basketball team. They're talented, they're physical, they're deep, they have great size, and they have a confident air about themselves when they step out on the court. So it's going to be a big challenge.
This is the kind of game, though, that players come to Tennessee to play, and you have a roster full of them that are ready for this challenge tonight.
Yeah, we're excited about the opportunity. That's how you have to look at this. And, you know, we want to go out there and we want to give ourselves a chance to compete and win. And to do that, we know we've got to play one of our best games. We understand that, but we are capable. And, you know, it starts defensively for us. We got to take care of the basketball. The board play is going to be one of the biggest numbers that we're tracking throughout the game.
What are the biggest things that your team's learned at this point? 'Cause you've played big games like this at Stanford, played Indiana, who's now a top 3 team, Ohio State, LSU on the road. What have you learned in those games that will help you tonight?
Well, I think our team understands our margin for error in those games is so small. A few mistakes can make a big difference. And these are the games where you really have to limit those. And when you hear mistakes, you immediately think turnovers. It's not just turnovers. It's executing the offense. It's taking the right shot. It's finishing layups. It is not having busted coverage defensively. It's making sure that you're communicating on all actions defensively. It's so many things that your focus has to be there for 40 minutes to beat this team.
South Carolina's roster gets a lot of attention for the talent they have, WNBA projections, all that. But you have Jordan Horst and Rakia Jackson, who have been headlining things for you. And there's not a combo that I'd rather go to battle with than those two, particularly the way they complement each other.
They're playing well. They look for each other. I think the matchups, the style of play that they play, I think is difficult at times for defenses to try to figure out how they're going to guard each of those players. Because a lot of times you want to put your best defender on one of those, or you got to pick one and figure out where you're going to go with the other one. But to me, what makes those two so special and what makes them work are the complementary players around them, the other players, Jillian Hollingshead, Sarah Puckett, Jordan Walker, Tess Darby, all the other players that can come in and make plays. That, to me, is why those two can be our superstars.
Tennessee wins tonight if?
We limit mistakes and we do a great job on the boards.
Hallmarks of any successful
Absolutely. There's not. It doesn't change. It really doesn't change. It's going to be, if you're good at something, you've got to be great at it during those big games. And obviously, we've got to take away something that they're great at. I'd like it to be the boards.
Coach, thanks for carving out a little bit of time with us today. Good luck tonight against South Carolina.
Thank you.
That is Kelly Harper earlier on with us here on Countdown to Tip-Off. Interesting, her keys to the game very similar to what we heard from our two LVFL guests, Jordan Reynolds and Bashaara Graves. Rebounding, limit the mistakes. That's a huge one. It's now time to announce our Lady Vol Fan of the Week and winner of a Lady Vol prize pack. Congratulations to Tammy Lamberth. Tammy, keep an eye out on your mailbox for a big orange package coming your way soon. Do you want to win next time? Just register for our next Countdown to Tip-Off at alumni.utk.edu for your chance to win. We got another one of these shows coming up very, very soon for men's basketball. So get your name in and your info in so you can join us and be our winner on our next Countdown to Tip-Off. We now bring in our regular Countdown to Tip-Off guest, Dwayne Wiles, Associate Vice Chancellor for Alumni Relations. Dwayne, it's been a great early spring on Rocky Top. The temperatures are going up, and so is involvement of our alumni on campus.
Yes, it is. And thank you so much, Brian. It's always a pleasure to see you do such a great job with our countdown to tip-off and kickoff events. And we got a big one tonight. But Lady Vol Nation, before that game, let me share with you how you can be proud, be involved, and be invested in UT. Number one, be proud by wearing your orange everywhere you go. Another way to show your pride as well is by purchasing the official alumni license plate. Now, proceeds from every plate support student scholarships. So visit your local county clerk and make sure to ask that they switch your plate to orange. Second, be involved by attending in-person or virtual events like this one. If you haven't yet, join our exclusive online alumni network that we call Connect UT. And here you can mentor current students, you can post jobs, and connect with fellow alumni. So visit connect.tennessee.edu today. And lastly, be invested by impacting the lives of our students. Make one gift any size every year to an area of the university that you want to support. You can do it now by visiting us online at alumni.utk.edu and select Make a Gift. Now, before we wrap up our show, let's count down the tip-off starting right now.
Outside the circle for three, and she hits it. Cannon first. What a shot!
This is Horsting. You're going to see her scoring a lot. Here comes Brooklyn. Miles showing the speed. Powell finds Darby in the corner from deep.
The range is unlimited.
Tamari Keys there, counted to be fouled.
For Kia Janet, that shows off the athleticism.
We thank you once again for joining us for Countdown to Tip-Off. Be sure to tune in tonight as the Lady Vols take on South Carolina at 7 o'clock on ESPN. I'll have the Lady Vol Network broadcast for you across the state and around the world beginning at 6:30 Eastern Time. Be sure to join us next Tuesday for Countdown to Tip-Off as we get you set for the Tennessee Volunteers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Join us right back here at 12:30 next week. Until then, I'm Brian Rice saying, go Lady Vols, let's beat the Gamecocks.